The city never truly slept, it just changed its pulse. In New York, night was its most honest hour. The glass towers that glittered with ambition during the day now reflected the darker truths of the people who built them. On one of those rooftops, a man named Elias Kane stood quietly, wind brushing against his black jacket, eyes fixed on a building across the street. The Hanover Vault, the most secure private bank on the East Coast. To most, Elias was just a former architect who disappeared after his firm was dissolved. But to the few who truly knew him, he was something else. A man haunted by betrayal and obsessed with precision. 2 years ago, his brother Nathan had been framed for a corporate embezzlement case involving Hanover. Nathan had taken his own life in prison. Elias never forgot. Now he wasn't here for money. He was here for justice disguised as revenge. His crew was small, sharp, and chosen for loyalty over greed. Sienna Vale, a robotics engineer with eyes like ice and nerves of steel. Luca Moreno, the quiet lock expert who could open anything made of metal. Ray Donovan, their inside man, who worked as a maintenance technician at the bank's headquarters. And finally, Tess, Elias's late brother's fiancée, a brilliant hacker with a poet's soul and a heart full of anger. They met in an abandoned subway station 2 nights before the job. The hum of the old lights mixed with the sound of rain leaking through the cracked ceiling. Elias spread out the digital schematics of the vault on a cracked laptop. "The Hanover Vault doesn't just keep gold," he said. "It keeps secrets, corporate black files, encrypted insurance documents, offshore codes. We're not stealing cash, we're taking information, and we're exposing them." Tess frowned. "And if we get caught?" Elias looked at her calmly. "Then at least the truth comes out." The plan was madness dressed as genius. The vault wasn't underground. It was suspended between 2 skyscrapers, a glass chamber linked by steel bridges 400 feet in the air. It was a symbol of transparency, a PR stunt for the bank. Your assets in plain sight. The irony wasn't lost on Elias. They had 8 minutes once inside. The night of the heist, the city was wrapped in fog. A maintenance elevator carried Elias, Sienna, and Luca up the side of the South Tower. Their uniforms were perfect, their credentials real enough to fool any scanner. Ray was already inside, controlling the internal sensors from a janitor's closet. "Elevator clear," Ray whispered through the comms. "You've got the green light." The doors opened onto a bridge made entirely of tempered glass. Below them, the city glowed like a map of stars. Sienna exhaled slowly. "If I fall, make sure they write something dramatic on my tombstone." Elias smirked faintly. "No one's dying tonight." They moved across the bridge to the vault's main entrance. A transparent cube with rotating laser grids and motion detectors. Sienna knelt, unpacking her spider bot, a palm-sized robot she'd built to reflect and redirect infrared beams. Within 30 seconds, the lasers froze in place, giving them a clean path. Inside, the vault was a work of art. Glass walls, titanium locks, and rows of digital safes. The hum of electricity was the only sound. Tess's voice came through their earpieces. "You have 6 minutes before the internal system cycles." Elias connected his wrist terminal to the control panel. He bypassed 3 encryption layers before the 4th fought back. Sparks danced across the glass screen. "Tess, I need manual override." "Working on it," she said, her fingers flying across keys. Ray's voice cut and suddenly tense. "We've got company." Night security just entered the south corridor. 2 guards. "Delay them," Elias said. "Already on it." Ray stepped out of the janitor's room, casually holding a clipboard. "Evening, gentlemen. Maintenance log, air filter check. System's been acting up." The guards barely looked up, too tired to care. Back in the vault, the final lock clicked open. The central safe slid forward, revealing rows of drives marked with corporate names. Elias scanned for one label. Project Zenith. That was the file that had destroyed Nathan. He pocketed it, then copied everything else onto a portable server. "Got it," he said. "Good," Tess replied, "because your window just shrank to 3 minutes." As they turned to leave, Luca froze. Wet. The pressure sensors. They're active again. The floor beneath them glowed faintly red. Someone rebooted the system remotely. Tess said, "I didn't." "Wait. There's another signal here. Someone else is logged in." Elias's eyes narrowed. "Ooh, can't trace it. But it's inside the bank's server. Someone's watching us." The sound of the building's alarm echoed faintly through the glass. They were out of time.
Bridge now,
Elias shouted. They ran across the glass corridor as lights began to flash red. Sienna's spider bot disintegrated under a security pulse, and the laser grid reactivated mid-run. Luca dove forward, barely clearing the last beam as it sliced across his sleeve. They crashed into the elevator just as the lockdown shutters sealed behind them. "Ray," Elias said, panting. "You still good?" But there was no answer. "Ray." A static Tess's voice broke the silence. "Elias, his signal's gone." A chill crawled down Elias's spine. They descended 30 floors in silence. Outside, Dex was waiting in a black delivery truck. The moment they climbed in, the van roared to life, merging into midnight traffic. Tess met them at the hideout, a rooftop greenhouse overlooking the river. "You did it," she said, eyes bright with relief. Elias handed her the drive marked Project Zenith. "Now we make it count." She connected it to her laptop. Files opened, photos, financial records, communications, proof that Hanover executives had framed Nathan to hide billions in laundered funds. Tess's hands trembled as she scrolled. This will destroy them." Elias smiled faintly for the first time in years. "Then Nathan gets justice." But as the file loaded, something strange happened. The screen glitched. Lines of code filled the display. Tess frowned. "Wait, this isn't data. It's a signal." Before she could unplug, the laptop froze. The words appeared across the screen. "Hello, Elias." Elias froze. "That's not possible." A second message appeared. "You're not the only one looking for revenge." Then the lights in the greenhouse flickered. A shadow moved across the glass. Ray stepped out from behind the plants, gun raised. His eyes were calm, almost regretful. "Ray," Sienna whispered. "What are you doing?" "I told you," he said softly. "I was in this for a reason. Hanover didn't just ruin your brother. They ruined my family too. But unlike you, I don't care about justice." Elias took a step forward. "You sold us out." Ray nodded once. "I sold the data to someone who'll pay for it. You wanted to expose them. I just wanted to win." He turned to leave, but before he could, Luca tackled him from behind. The gun went off, shattering a glass panel. In the chaos, the hard drive slid across the floor. Tess grabbed it, running toward Elias. "Go," she shouted. Elias hesitated, just long enough to see Sienna pull Luca to safety. Then he and Tess sprinted down the fire escape as Ray fired again. The bullet grazed Elias's arm, blood soaking through his sleeve, but they didn't stop. They disappeared into the night. By dawn, the story was already making headlines. Anonymous whistleblower data had exposed the Hanover scandal. Stock markets crashed. Executives were arrested, but no one knew who had done it. In a quiet train station on the outskirts of Lisbon, Elias sat with Tess, both disguised under cheap coats. A small duffel bag sat between them, not full of cash but the truth. Tess looked at him. Was it worth it? He watched the sunrise through the window, his reflection blending with the city beyond. For Nathan, always. She smiled softly. And for us? Elias didn't answer. He just handed her a ticket. "You go first. Start new. The world's cleaner now for a while." She hesitated. "What about you?" "I've still got unfinished business." As she boarded the train, she turned once more. Elias stood on the platform, coat fluttering in the cold wind. The train pulled away, and he faded into the blur of sunrise and smoke, another ghost written into the city's history. Far away, in a dark penthouse, a phone buzzed. A familiar voice answered. "Did they take the bait?" "Yes," Ray said quietly. "The files are gone, but Kane's still alive." "Good," the voice replied. "Then let's begin phase 2. Ray looked out